What up? Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the start of the fantasy semifinals. Assuming you're in a normal league that ends after week 17. The penultimate for fantasy football starts tonight with a big one. Rams facing the Seahawks in Seattle. I'll give a quick overview on that game from a fantasy perspective. It's not all cut and dry. Sometimes it is. This time it's not. We'll go over the latest practice reports, injury updates that we have, and then taking you right up to the start of kickoff. Any fantasy-related questions that you guys have ahead of the fantasy semifinals. Congrats if you're still alive. Congrats if you won your playoff. You know, for the vast majority of us, if you're here, you probably won a playoff matchup last week. There may be other leagues with a smaller playoff bracket, and their playoffs start tonight. A 4-team playoff. I know there's plenty of leagues that still do that smaller playoff bracket. Most do 6 teams. Plenty do 4. Either way, playoffs are tonight, no matter what, and in all likelihood, it's the semifinals. So whatever you guys need going into this game, it's a big one. Rams-Seahawks, it's not just the division that's up for grabs here. The number 1 seed in the conference, the number 1 seed in the NFC is on the line tonight. This is the perfect situation you want for your fantasy players that are playing on teams in games that mean something. This one matters. This one matters plenty. This is an ideal situation for fantasy guys going in big games. And it doesn't get much bigger than 2 division opponents fighting for the 1 seed in the conference. So, to kick things off with Thursday night football, you already know what you're doing with JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Puka Nacua. They are must-starts in your lineup no matter what. It does not matter who else you have on your team, what the other circumstances are. I do not care. You're playing both of those guys no matter what. Matthew Stafford has typically been a start at quarterback this year. It does not look like Davante Adams is going to go tonight. He is doubtful with the hamstring injury that he was nursing last week, and now has been missing practice time, re-aggravated, or looked like he at the very least tweaked that same injury in the Rams Week 15 game. Now on a short week, that turnaround is probably going to be too much. I don't think he's officially been ruled out yet, but Davante Adams very much not expected to play tonight, not expected to go. We already knew this. You already have another player in your lineup ready to go to replace Adams. In the unlikely event that he plays or suits up, I'm just throwing out there, it's probably at best a 5% chance right now that Adams plays. He would be incredibly difficult to trust. He probably would be on the field only for red zone situations, scoring opportunities, at which case you're looking at maybe 2 or 3 catches at best on, say, 3 to 5 targets. So you're basically hoping for a couple of 1-yard touchdowns, which he has done in bunches this year. But probably not going to be available tonight and would be extremely volatile if he did suit up. You are banking on the most extreme of good efficiency if Adams suits up. We'll find out definitively here probably in the next 20 to 35-ish minutes or so when inactives roll in for the game. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, both startable as flex options in this game. The Seahawks have a good defense, but the Rams are going to be looking for different options wherever they can get them, and goal line work increases without Davante Adams in the lineup for the Rams, again, assuming he is out. So, all of those touchdowns this year when they, in years past, The Rams would constantly run the ball with Kyron at the 1-yard line. This year it's been Davante Adams. You would think that could swing back to the running backs tonight, assuming Adams doesn't go. So Corum, in addition to Kyron Williams, are both on the radar. I bring up Corum has played very well the past 3 weeks and is perfectly fine as a flex option. I say flex from let me quickly caveat, I say flex from the perspective of like his projection, not necessarily leave him in your flex. As always, as I try to continuously remind, just as a doing what's best for your lineup, if you do play these players, play them in their position spots, leave your flex spot open. Do not play Thursday night players in the flex unless your whole position group is going on a Thursday night that you intend to start for the entire week. Do not play Thursday night football players in the flex. Maximize your flexibility for Saturday games, Sunday and Monday night in the event that you intend to start other players playing later in the week from that position group. So if you do play Blake Corum, yeah, he projects as a flex. Don't leave him in the flex. Put him in a running back spot. But both of those Rams running backs are viable. And then finally at tight end, Colby Parkinson is on the streaming radar tonight. Without Davante Adams, Parkinson has been red hot. I think he has 6 touchdowns in his past 6 games. His target share has increased in those games, and expect it to go even higher if Adams doesn't go. Parkinson is firmly... you could probably project him as a top 8 tight end at the position this week. Whether that actually happens or not is another question, but the matchup is good. The situation is good against the Seahawks. Seahawks have a good defense, but they do give up fantasy points to the tight end on the year, so Parkinson is in a good spot. The only problem with that is, yes, we can expect his usage to be better than usual without Adams, but that could also mean that the likelihood of randomness goes up as well. Terrence Ferguson... they have a third tight end whose name I'm blanking on right now. It's not Tyler Higbee. He's injured, I believe. There's a third, Davis Allen, maybe. Terrence Ferguson, Davis Allen, I think is who it is. So, it could be Colby Parkinson, and he's on the run right now. And he would be the streaming candidate if we were to pick one Rams tight end for tonight. But it's certainly possible that other tight ends get involved as well, just if they go 13 personnel, the Rams, which they have frequently this year. On the Seahawks side, I already talked about JSN. You're starting him. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are highly volatile flex plays. The Rams have a good run defense. The Seahawks don't run the ball well. Yes, they are at home, so both guys should be fine. But I don't love either one in this spot tonight. I'd rather play Kyron over Kenneth Walker, and I'd rather play Corum over Zach Charbonnet. I honestly might play Corum over Walker at this point, too. Maybe I don't go that high. Maybe I don't go that high. I certainly play Corum over, Zach Charbonnet. Yeah. And then I guess the other player here is Rashid Shaheed. Solid performances the past couple of weeks. Still kind of tough to trust, especially on a short week. But, if you're looking for upside, if you're looking to be aggressive and you need to swing for the fences and a low floor play doesn't do it for you and your alternative is Shaheed, then he's viable as a wide receiver. I don't know if he's a wide receiver 3. He's a high upside wide receiver 4. He certainly has better upside than that. But he is still a little difficult to project. Darnold and Stafford, I think I would only play in super flex formats. Stafford has been great this year, but he's tough to trust without Davante Adams. Yes, Puka will get all the work he can handle, but Stafford might be, Stafford's numbers at the end of the day might be a little lacking without Adams. So both quarterbacks viable in super flex formats, but in one quarterback leagues, I would be probably trying to pivot even off of Stafford, who has had such a really good year this year. No Adams. It just hurts his touchdown upside. It hurts Stafford's touchdown upside. Okay, I think that does it for this game. A lot of fireworks potentially in this Seahawks-Rams Thursday night game. I'm sure there are a lot of folks who are going to be paying attention. Okay, let's take a look at injury reports from today. I'll quickly go over each one, and then I can start taking your questions. Josh Jacobs not practicing for the 3rd straight day today. He has not practiced all week. He talked earlier in the week about playing through injury, playing through pain in big games. I would expect Jacobs to be out there. He is clearly banged up. Um, it's a tough situation, but it's Josh freaking Jacobs. If he's active, you start him, and you don't have to worry about Jacobs or somebody else because Jacobs plays on Saturday this week, not Sunday. So you'll have your options between Jacobs and other guys on your bench if Jacobs ultimately gets ruled out. But if he's in, you play him, and you don't think twice about it. Tet McMillan got a full practice in today. This was after he missed practice on yesterday. He's a wide receiver 3 with high upside, but also a low floor, just because Carolina they don't throw the ball a ton. So sometimes Tet delivers, but sometimes he doesn't. T. Higgins was initially said not participating in practice, but then later it says he was participating in practice, got a limited session in. He'll have to clear concussion protocol to play. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see about Higgins. Rashee Rice will not practice again on Thursday. Rashee Rice is not going to play this week. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. Rice is not going to play this week. The Chiefs are out of it. They've been eliminated from playoff contention, and now as of yesterday, Wednesday, Rice is in concussion protocol. If he's dealing with concussion symptoms heading into a game, that means nothing for Kansas City. Mahomes is already out for the year. They cannot make the playoffs. They've already mathematically been eliminated. They are going to be cautious with Rashee Rice. They are not going to play him this week. If he has a concussion, he will be out. If you have Rashee Rice, it's a brutal development to the fantasy playoffs because he didn't put up a huge performance last week if you played, and if you whether you had a bye week or if you advanced with him, you're not going to have him this week. At the very least, it wouldn't be surprising if this becomes a shutdown situation and they just don't play him at all. Rashee Rice is not going to play this week, and I know it hasn't officially been ruled or confirmed yet. But you don't clear concussion protocol in a week's time on a good week. Most weeks, when Kansas City has nothing to play for, they're gonna be cautious and they'll rule him out. Plan not to have Rashee Rice this week if you have him. Ricky Pearsall not practicing Thursday. I will not be playing Ricky Pearsall this week on Monday Night Football. Even if he does go, you would have to wait on Monday night. He's probably not playing anyway. He re-aggravated the knee injury, one that's been bugging him earlier this year. Do not plan to play Ricky Pearsall, and you can't afford to wait for him anyway on Monday night. Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, both out for Saturday, so DJ Moore is going to get all the work he can possibly handle. I think Colston Loveland is a great streaming option this week at tight end. I think he's a top 8 option for the week. And DeAndre Swift may catch a ton of dump-offs if he's able to go. I believe he's listed questionable, but I think he's expected to go despite that designation. And Cole Kmet is also listed questionable for the Bears. He said he'll play. So Caleb Williams is going to have to spread it around a little bit. That said, I do like Caleb this week against the Packers at home. Second straight home game for Chicago. I feel like it's a good spot for the Bears. Revenge game for them. They just lost to Green Bay a couple of weeks ago. Green Bay will be playing their second straight road game, and they won't have Micah Parsons, who is out for the season with a torn ACL. Even though there are injuries at the wide receiver position for Chicago, I do like Caleb Williams this week. Therefore, I like DJ Moore, and I like Colston Loveland. Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, both listed questionable for Saturday. I think Watson said he's expected to go, which is good news after he picked up the injury that he suffered last week. So we'll see. Jordan Love should have a decent complement of options at wide receiver available to him in that game against the Bears on Saturday. Saturday night. It's a big one. Cade Otton fully practices Thursday. Okay. Saquon Barkley's off the injury report for Philly, so you know what to do with him. You're firing him up. Dalton Kincaid does not practice on Thursday. If he can't play, it'll be Dawson Knox in a starter's role in a tough matchup against the Browns. He will be impossible to trust. Although he has been playing well recently, Dawson Knox. It's not a great matchup by the numbers. I'm not necessarily worried about Josh Allen. But who ends up being the beneficiary of Josh Allen being Josh Allen is always a crapshoot. So I don't know that I trust Knox just because in the event Kincaid can't play. This is a big one. Drake London limited in practice on Thursday, the second straight day. So London could be trending toward a return. I saw that Kyle Pitts was also added to the injury report with a limited designation with a knee injury. If London can go, it obviously puts a damper on the outlook of Kyle Pitts, whoever has him and played him last week probably was planning to play him with full confidence going into this week. Now with London returning to practice and Pitts picking up an injury designation, it doesn't seem to be serious for Pitts. I will say that. The injury designation doesn't seem to be serious, but it is enough, obviously, to generate some pause. If you have Pitts, feel free to let me know and we can talk about your alternate options. If London plays, that does severely put a damper on the optimism around Kyle Pitts. That being said, if he's healthy, I think I would still play him. We've seen Kirk Cousins in the past be able to support two different pass catchers in an offense. He's older now, and the prospects maybe aren't as good, but it's a good matchup by the numbers. Pitts is playing for another contract. Cousins is playing for an opportunity to show that he can still start somewhere in all likelihood. I don't think I'm too afraid of Pitts, even if London returns, because it's possible that this would be the game where London doesn't see a full complement of snaps and opportunities. If he does play, they would maybe ease him back in after missing a few weeks. So, I think I'm still decently confident in Kyle Pitts, but obviously Friday's practice reports will be telling. David Njoku, Dylan Sampson not practicing Thursday. Harold Fannin is probably, despite the bad matchup by the numbers, Harold Fannin is a top 6 option on the slate. No, the Browns' offense isn't very good, but Shedeur Sanders is funneling targets to Harold Fannin, absolutely peppering him with opportunities. Just based on that alone, plus the fact that the Bills are, heavy favorites, I'll take, Fannin's expected solid volume as a top 6 option this week. I would play him with a decent amount of confidence. Obviously, there may not be a ceiling because of the matchup, but from a volume perspective, I think he's in a good spot, especially without no David Njoku. Marvin Harrison limited in practice again on Thursday. This would maybe be an unfortunate development for Michael Wilson, but the matchup is so good. The matchup is really good for all the players in this game. Arizona and Atlanta, 2 bad defenses at pretty much every level. So I wanna play my players in this game. If Marvin Harrison returns, you could start him as a flex option, and I still think you can play Michael Wilson. I think the volume will be there. Michael Wilson has proven too good to be ignored. I know when Marv came back in the middle of this stretch of Michael Wilson's, moment as him this year, Wilson's production fell off. But that was a couple weeks ago, and again, we're getting more good performances from Michael Wilson since then. I don't want to go away from him in a great matchup against Atlanta. They're giving up so much production to opposing wide receivers. I would probably rank Michael Wilson ahead of Marv this week. That said, Marv is on the flex radar because of how good this matchup is if he goes. Chris Rodriguez off the injury report for Saturday. He may play. Be wary of firing up Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt on the back of a good performance last week. Chris Rodriguez will probably be more of a factor, or will be a factor, whereas last week he wasn't. No practice for Alvin Kamara. Devin Neal is on IR, so Audric Estime and Evan Hull are going to lead the backfield for the Saints for the rest of the way in all likelihood this year. Good luck sorting that situation out. I would probably try to just avoid. I would just avoid. RJ Harvey fully practicing. That's great. Quentin Johnston limited in practice. He's tough to trust. Nick Chubb fully practicing, but Woody Marks is not practicing. This is significant. The Raiders are awful against opposing running backs. Whoever starts at Houston is in a good spot to do well at running back. If it's Woody Marks, Marks is in a good spot. If it's Nick Chubb, he's tough to trust. But if you were ever going to fire up Nick Chubb in a situation where maybe you need a random flex play, it would be at home against the Raiders, where the Texans, I think, are multiple touchdown favorites. So whoever ends up getting the start for the Houston backfield is on the radar to play this week. That's how good the matchup is. But, of course, Woody not practicing back-to-back days is not super promising. Geno Smith is fully practicing. He'll make his return to the starting lineup. Ho-hum. And that's everything that I have so far. Okay. I covered the game that's going on tonight. Rams-Seahawks. I did that right off the top. Just went over injuries. Now can take your guys' questions. And yes, I'm in the holiday spirit. Happy holidays to everybody. Congrats again if you are in the semifinals. Big accomplishment. Let's move on. It starts tonight anyway. Let's plan to move on to championship week. What say you? Keep in mind, I know you all know this at this point, but I'm bringing this up for scheduling purposes. There are games this week on Saturday in addition to Sunday. Eagles-Commanders, 5 p.m. on Saturday, and then Bears-Packers, I think, at like 8 or 8:20 Saturday night. The Eagles game starts when I typically stream. So I will be streaming earlier on Saturday morning for start, sit, help, or maybe it's more early afternoon. Somewhere in the 1 to 2 p.m. window, I will stream on Saturday. That is TBD. I have not set my schedule officially yet, but I will stream earlier in the day, early afternoon on Saturday, early afternoon East Coast time, to be clear. So say in the 1 p.m. East window, 1 to 2 p.m. East window, I will start the stream with Eagles-Commanders in mind. So keep in mind that scheduling change, not just for the games, but, I typically stream 5 p.m. Eastern. That's when kickoff starts this weekend. So I'll stream a little earlier this Saturday, just as a heads up, if anybody wants to come hang right before the Saturday slate. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you are here for the first time, welcome in. Member questions get first priority as far as responses. That is a perk of being a member of the channel. It does not matter when a member sends a question. They will get their question answered first ahead of non-member questions. If you are interested in becoming a member of the channel, you can find more details about that in the first link in the description of this live stream and all videos and streams on the channel. If you are feeling generous enough this holiday season to send a super, that would also be a way to jump the line and get your question answered faster ahead of non-member questions. If you are not a member and you do not send a super, I will get to your question, but I'm asking for some patience as I work through member questions first. Whether or not you are a member, if you're enjoying the stream, if you could just like the stream, that would help me out for algorithm purposes. Let's get into it. I see Sport Dog. I see Crumply Heads. Yep, holiday spirit. I see Greg. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming in. And all of you this Thursday evening, let's kick off week 16, with some good fortunes. Sport Dog, this is the final for you? That's okay. I've heard of week 18 finals before, which I don't like. I've never heard of week 16 being a final round. Well, it used to be before the 18-game schedule, and then week 17 became championship week. That's something you should revisit with your league, Sport Dog. You should push championship week. Congrats on being in the final, but the new default is week 17 being the championship week. Nevertheless, congrats on being in the final. Let's see. Looks good. May, J-Mo, Pickens, Gamewell. Yeah, Bowers, McCaffrey. And you can I would probably plan to play Warren if London is out. unless Marks, if Marks plays, it's not looking good after back-to-back missed practices, but it's not a guarantee that he's been ruled out yet. If Marks plays, my answer would be Marks over London. But if Marks is ruled out and London is ruled out, then I would probably go Warren. Let's see. Greg, you have... Okay, so this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Stafford has been great all year, but I'm pivoting off of him tonight because he doesn't have Devontae Adams. The touchdown upside is not going to be the same that it usually is. Yes, he's got Puka, who is awesome. He has his tight ends who have been solid, but Stafford himself loses some of his floor, or let's say some of his ceiling, without Devontae Adams. Still good for 2 touchdowns? Sure, fine. But it's certainly possible that those goal line opportunities, much like the past couple of years, they go back to the running backs tonight. The chances of running at the goal line goes up for the Rams tonight. So that potentially takes a touchdown away from Stafford as opposed to, this year that's been one that he's been getting. Jacoby Brissett has been a QB1 since he entered the lineup, since he entered the Cardinals starting lineup. He's been a QB1. This is a beautiful matchup against the Falcons. This is clear cut for me. Like, no question, without a doubt. I'm playing Jacoby Brissett over Matthew Stafford this week. No question. No question. And you need some flex up. Well, you're playing Michael Wilson. You can grab Moore, DJ Moore. DJ Moore? That would be insane if he's available. Or am I thinking of a different Moore? If DJ Moore is on waivers, DJ Moore needs to be picked up. DJ Moore, there's no Rome Odunze or Luther Burden for Chicago this weekend. DJ Moore's going to get all the work that he can handle. He hasn't been great this year, but he was good last week, and now his competition at the position for touches is gone. Yeah, I would pick up and play DJ Moore over almost all of those names. Maybe not Michael Wilson, but over almost all of those names, I would play DJ Moore. DJ Moore needs to not only be on rosters if he's on waivers, but he should probably just be in lineups this week. Yeah, I would pick up DJ Moore. So I would play Michael Wilson, DJ Moore, and then I would probably plan to play Woody if he plays, but if he's out, I would play Aaron Jones as your running back. DJ Moore, Michael Wilson, and then Woody if he's active, Aaron Jones if Woody's inactive. That's my answer, Greg. I'm not worried about Michael Carter. I'm not worried about Audric Estime anymore. This channel did have a cool nickname for Audric Estime. First of his name, Slayer of Dragons. But he just hasn't turned out to be, I don't know if he's deserving of that nickname. He's kind of just been whatever. He's got his opportunity now, and that's all well and good. But, I can't in good faith, advocate for Audric Estime in most scenarios. I'm sure there's going to be some folks out there who are they're going through it and they may have to actually play a guy like that. But, it could be Evan Hull. It could be neither of them. Maybe Estime does okay. I don't know. I just don't trust anybody in that Saints backfield. But yeah, pick up and play DJ Moore for sure. And yeah, Crumply Heads, if you haven't made any changes to the rosters in Discord, I did look at them and I did comment on them. I don't know if you've made any changes, but I would play Blake Corum over Michael Pittman, which I know sounds crazy, but I would. Corum has been playing well, making the most of his opportunities. The Indianapolis offense is not what it once was. It may look good on paper based on its season-long performances, but now we're, Phillip Rivers probably at this stage of his career can't push the ball downfield. You're hoping that Michael Pittman puts up tight end numbers tonight on Monday night. Like 5 for 50 feels like it would be a good game for Pittman. I just don't want to, if that's the upside, I'll play a running back who's been on a bit of a heater. In a decent situation where, again, no Devontae Adams, Corum could get a goal line look or two, an extra goal line look or two. So, yeah, if you haven't made any changes, Crumply Heads, I did make comments on each roster. And yeah, Sport Dog, I would say if London is in, play London. If London is out and Marks is in, plan to play Marks. And then if Marks is out, play Warren. That's what I would do. Okay. And yeah, weeks and Crumply Heads, I agree. Like week 16, I don't like that at all as a championship week. So Sport Dog, like I would definitely talk to your league at the end of the year and be like, let's change this to week 17. Playoffs, obviously this fluctuates. We've got some people who play in shallow leagues. We've got some people who play in deeper leagues. Most people here play in 10 and 12 team leagues. That's the standard. That's the default. I prefer 12 teams. Some people do 10. Either way, generally speaking, playoffs start week 15 and end week 17. The first two teams get bye weeks. 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5 in week 15, and then, winner of one game plays the 1 seed, winner of the other game plays the 2 seed, week 16, and then the final week 17, the championship week 17. That's what you're going to see, what has become normal for most leagues. So I would certainly advocate for pushing championship week back to week 17. But don't go to week 18. Respectfully, honestly, disrespectfully, it's not you. It's the league. I hate any league that goes to week 18. That week 18 stinks. Jason on the Fantasy Footballers podcast brought up a good point today. It shouldn't even be an option for you to go to week 18. Like every format should just eliminate that as an option. Every format should just be week 17 is championship week. It's the penultimate week in the NFL season. It's the last real time you're not going to see players intentionally benched either because of, a 1 seed is locked up or they're out of the playoffs or they're playing an important game. Like it's the last true time where it's like you don't have to worry about that stuff as much. Yeah, Greg, we can definitely make some final calls on Saturday, but yes, I would go Wilson, Moore, Marks if he plays, Aaron Jones if Marks is out. That's what I would do. I wouldn't play Gadsden. I know Gadsden is against the Cowboys, but It's a really good matchup. I kind of prefer, and yes, tight end premium does make a difference. Tight end premium, I guess Gadsden is fine. Over Corum. In tight end premium, that's fine. I would definitely play both over Pittman, that's for sure. Okay. Got all the member questions. Let me jump back up to the top. Are we concerned with the weather in Seattle? So the last I saw is that winds are in the 15 mile per hour range and it's raining. That is a little concerning with Myers. The problem is Myers, and maybe it's not a problem. Maybe that's not the right word. But just Myers has been so freaking good this year. Okay. So... And if I ever have anybody on site in the locations that I'm talking about, by all means, speak up and be like, yep, it's raining like crazy here, or the wind is nuts. I don't know where everybody is in this wide world of ours, and I'm not asking you to disclose that information, but if anybody's ever in the area of potential weather issues and we can get some boots on the ground updates, that's the type of hard-hitting reporting that I need. I'm going to start up a fantasy weather center at some point. I'm asking you for donations. Just kidding. So if the weather in Seattle isn't great, obviously it's less than ideal for the kickers and even the passing game as well. That being said, JSN and Puka are still in your lineups. I don't care what the weather's like. I feel like Myers applies here. He's been such a stud. Almost to the point where, and it's not like he's not unfamiliar with Seattle's weather. He's been kicking there for, I think, some time. Jason Myers has been their kicker for a while. Winds are at 12 miles per hour. That's not bad. This is from weather.com. Right now, now it's creeping up to 15 mile per hour winds. But it could go up to it doesn't look like it's going to crack 20 miles per hour. I think you have to play Jason Myers. If it was 20, 25 mile per hour winds, 30 mile per hour wind gusts, really crazy stuff, okay, fine, bench Myers. But he's been so freaking good this year, I don't think you could pivot off of him. Yeah. I think you got to roll the dice. If it was any other kicker, okay, fine, pivot off of him. But short of it being a tornado, are we taking Jason Myers out of our lineup? I have a hard time doing that. I get the concern, but, we play the best at their positions pretty much almost every week. I want to do the same with Myers. He's been the best kicker this year. For whatever it's worth, Jacoby Myers just signed a 3-year extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So congratulations to Jacoby Myers getting a contract extension with the team that traded for it. They clearly really wanted Jacoby Myers, and now he's a part of their short-term future. Just throwing that out there. So, no, I'm playing Jason Myers tonight. Start Corum or wait for Woody Marks news and decide Marks or Estime. Dang. Okay. That's the cutoff of how far are you willing to go with some of these guys. I think I would wait on Marks because Estime, it was close, but Estime did lead the backfield last week over Evan Hall. I think the numbers were pretty close, but Estime did lead it. It is a solid matchup. It's against the Carolina Panthers, right? Saints. The Saints are playing the Jets. The Panthers get. I'm sorry, who are the Panthers? The Bucks. It's the Bucks. That's right. Oh wait, sorry. He is on the Saints. They're playing the Jets. It's a good. Okay, so it's a good matchup. Estime on this. I got twisted for a second. I was like, what the hell team is Estime on again? I know he's on New Orleans. Okay, Saints get the Jets. That's right. Sorry about that. It's a good matchup. Marks is worth waiting on. I do like Corum tonight. I think he's a solid flex play. And the chances of a goal line touchdown are higher with no Davante Adams, again, assuming he's out. Has that been ruled yet? Has that been officially inactive? There it is, just now. Davante Adams inactive for Thursday. That is confirmed. No surprise there, but now it's officially official. I do think the running backs have increased opportunities at the goal line without Davante Adams tonight, but Woody Marks is worth waiting on. If he's able to get a limited practice in tomorrow, that would put him on track to play in a great matchup against the Raiders. I'm willing to wait on Marks and play Estime if Marks doesn't play. So, yes, I would wait. I would wait. Just got a super from Andrew. Appreciate the support, Andrew. Thank you so much. Let me jump down here. Parkinson, Aaron Jones, or Michael Carter in full PPR. So Parkinson is definitely on the streaming radar tonight. The weather is a slight concern. and the unpredictability of the tight end position is also a concern. But without Davante Adams, his chances of scoring a touchdown have increased, and that's what we're looking for out of a streaming option at tight end. Aaron Jones gets a pretty good matchup against the New York Giants and will catch the football. And then Michael Carter, in theory, he should have it's a favorable spot against Atlanta. He should get plenty of opportunities. No Bam night. Amari DiMercato is back for them. How many opportunities did DiMercato get last week? Let me see. Carter, great matchup. 14 carries, 56 yards. 4 catches for 38 yards. I guess Carter got more work Carter got more snap share last week than I remember. He got 80% of the snaps. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily going to stick again, but I feel like that's what we have to chase is usage. And Carter got good usage last week, and now he's in a great matchup. I think that's ultimately where I'm going. It's dicey. It's definitely volatile, but I think I would go Carter and try to bank on some volume here. Aaron Jones is a good play in a good matchup, but Jordan Mason is still getting involved. Michael Carter's in a good matchup and dominated work last week. So I think that's where you should go. Parkinson is definitely on the streaming tight end radar, but I don't know that I want to play him over a running back that is getting, a bell cow snap share with all of the injuries that they have. Arizona doesn't run the ball great, but if they're going to give all the work to one guy and it's a good enough matchup, I'm fine taking that shot. I'm fine taking that shot with Carter. I think that's where I would go. I did not realize he had 80% of the snaps last week. I thought it was more 60-40. 80% is enough for me to say, yeah, I would go with Michael Carter. Appreciate the super, Andrew. Let me know if you need anything else with that question or anything else in general. What's going on, Manny? Good to see you. Devontae Smith, Michael Carter, or Estime? I think I'm giving you the same answer. I think I'm going to say Michael Carter. Devontae Smith is a damn good player, and he has a really good history against Washington. If this is full PPR, I think I'm okay with you going Devontae Smith if you want to fire up the receiver. He hasn't been great in recent weeks, though, so I get the concern. Like I said, Carter just got 80% of the opportunities. Trey Benson's season is over. Bam Knight is also not going to play. I think they put him on IR as well, so he's not coming back. We're down to Michael Carter and Amari DiMercato, and Carter got 80% of the work after Bam got injured last week. I think we have to go back to the well with that, especially if it's half PPR or standard scoring. If it's full PPR and you want to take a swing on Devontae and you feel like you need some upside, that would be the other thing. If you think you need some upside, I would probably go Devontae Smith. But the safe play, the floor play, if you like your spot, if you like your situation that you're in, I would go Carter. I would go Carter. Okay. Back up to the top. Start one running back, 2 flex, and a tight end. Trace Brown, Henderson, Kyron, Rice. And you're not playing Rice because he's not going to play. And a tight end between Parkinson, Gadsden, Theo, and Barner. This is a scenario where I think I would play Parkinson. I know the weather's not great, and I know Gadsden's got a great matchup. But Parkinson is on a heater right now. I think he's got 6 touchdowns in his last 6 games, and Davante Adams is out. This game is for the number 1 seed in the conference, not just the top of the NFC West. This is a massive showdown. The Rams are going to pull out all the stops on the road to try to get this win and keep the 1 seed away from Seattle. Parkinson has been one of their better players on offense. They're going to need him to step up with no Davante tonight. I'll take Parkinson as your tight end. You're playing Chase Brown, Henderson, and Kyren. As your one running back and 2 flex. Is that right? Do I want to play those guys over Terry? Maybe I don't want to play Kyren over Terry. If it's half PPR, I guess I could take a wide receiver and put him in there. Okay. Actually, Terry will... Never mind. Terry will see Quinyon Mitchell. That's not ideal. Chase Brown, Henderson, Kyren, Parkinson, I think is my answer here. Rice is not going to play. He's in I'm almost sure of Rice not going to play in concussion protocol with the Chiefs out of it. I do like Terry, but I think I prefer the running backs. Is it? Evan, what's going on? It doesn't look like you're a member anymore, but just giving you the shout out because you have been. But I'm sorry I didn't notice this until now. I have never been in a league like this before, where you have to be able to spend a minimum of 1 fab buck to acquire a player, and now you can't pick somebody up for the semifinals. That's crap. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. There's no way that you shouldn't have the right to make a $0 claim on somebody. No. There's no way. I would go to the commish. I would go to the league. There's nothing you could do about it now because you can't change rules mid-season or in the season, especially during the playoffs. But that is crazy. That's insane to me. No, that's a rule change that needs to happen, and if the league turns it down or the commissioner turns it down, I would probably leave that league. Yes, I get the importance of fab. And if that's the case, if it's no, we need to keep it that way, then increase the budget for the rest of the season so that you have a little bit more to spend a week over week. There's no way you could tell me, okay, you have 100 fab for the course of the season, and when it runs out, you can't make any more pickups. No, I disagree with that. Because it still favors people who hold fab down the line to be able to outbid people who don't have that much fab left. So you still benefit if you are hoarding fab and use it down the line, use it later in the season. But to not be able to pick up anybody, no, I disagree with that. Oh, you didn't unsubscribe. That's weird. It's showing. Okay. There must be something going. I'm sorry. There must be something going on because your username is now not showing up as with member status. That's super. I don't know what. Okay. I apologize. I don't know what's going on or why it's doing that. And if there are other questions, I don't see them. Give me a second. Okay. All right, let me get to... All right, I apologize, Evan. It looks like your name looks like a non-member, and I'm not sure why that's the case. But I'll pick these up now. My apologies. I'm not sure what's going on. There must be something up with there must be something up with memberships. As far as defenses, I like the Saints this week. Oh yeah, that works. That's better. That's okay. Now I see that it looks like okay. Maybe there's two. Maybe you have 2 different accounts. Yep. Now I see it. There you go. Thank you for making that switch, and sorry for the confusion. Give me the Saints if you're hopefully you're picking this up now. That's weird. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything different on my end. I'm the only thing I did was stop. I'm not streaming on Twitch today, but you guys are going through YouTube, so that shouldn't have had any impact. I don't know what happened. Anyway, the Saints are a top 2 defense for me this week. The only defense I would play over the Saints is Houston. Houston is the number one defense to play this week. I would put the Saints number 2, and it's exactly that. The Jets are just that bad. Brady Cook, like 3 sacks, 3 picks last week. The Saints are at home. You know, they're playing strong right now to kind of fit. They appear to be on like an upward tick. I think they feel like a team that's trying to close out their season with some positive momentum, and they're playing well. The Jets' offense is a minefield right now. It's a ticking time bomb. There's no Garrett Wilson. Mason Taylor is out. You know, they're down to their third string quarterback, and they're on the road. I'll take the Saints. And it has everything to do with the matchup. I want to play the Saints over everybody this week, not named the Houston Texans. If you have the New Orleans Saints, or the Saints are out there on waivers, and you don't have the Houston Texans, I would play New Orleans. That's for anybody. I assume that they are picked up. They were one of the most one of the most rostered defenses after last week with people planning ahead. But if the Saints are still out there, I would play the Saints. I would play the odds. And the odds are the Saints will do well against a third-string quarterback. And let me see, Devin, did you have another question that I missed? It doesn't look like it. I think I got them. Now. Sorry, we got that subscription issue sorted out, but thank you for your patience. Yeah, I would play New Orleans. They're my favorite defense to play this week, unless you have the Houston Texans. Okay. Repost. If you have a flex question, just repost it, and I can get to it now. Egbuka, Brian Thomas, or Estime. Brian Thomas is that's a tough matchup against Denver. He's probably going to see Surtain. I know Jacoby Myers, like Surtain is a boundary outside wide receiver. He's probably going to be on Brian Thomas, not Jacoby Myers. So I don't know that I want to play him. And Egbuka, I mean, Egbuka's been quiet. And a lot of it has been Baker Mayfield, but the fact of the matter is the numbers haven't been there. They were okay last week against Atlanta, but Mike Evans is back. Cade Otton is fully practicing. Chris Godwin is playing. That could be good for Egbuka from the perspective of now defenses can't key on him, but that also just now means there's more mouths to feed, and Evans is still that team's wide receiver 1 until further notice, at least when healthy. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I might say Estime. Brian Thomas has not had a good season, and he's going to see Patrick Surtain in all likelihood. I don't like that matchup. Estime at least gets the Jets. That is a good matchup. I want to play players against the Jets. I guess I would say Estime. Those wide receivers are really volatile. Brian Thomas has been wildly up and down this year, mostly down, and Egbuka has been pretty quiet recently. So I'll take the floor of the running back. I'll take Estime. I think his floor is decent. Okay. Let's see. Now that is sorted out, and apologies again, Evan. Thanks for switching over. Not sure why that happened. Back up to the top. Baker or Dart in 4-point passing? I'm going Dart. I went back and looked, and I encourage you all to do the same if you have Dart questions. Just go back and look at what he's done. It's easy to forget because they had a late bye week, and he missed a matchup, and he had one like not great performance. I think that was against New England on the road, which is a tough matchup. But other than that, and especially at home, Jackson Dart has been money. Yeah. Like, he had a great performance last week against Washington, but prior to that, bye week, week 14, down week 13 on the road against New England. That was his first game back after a 2-game absence from suffering a concussion. But, like, weeks 4 through 10, 4 QB1 performances. 3 of them, he was like a top 4 option on the week. And the other 3 performances, he was at least the quarterback 16. So he was still giving you like low-end QB1, strong, like decent QB2 numbers. Jackson Dart has been awesome this year. Baker has his full complement of weapons, and that's all well and good. But Dart, like, he's got the rushing element. He'll run. He's maybe a little bit more of an injury risk, but he's the upside play and the floor play. I'm going Dart over Mayfield. Going Dart over Mayfield. I'm going Dart over a lot of players. Yeah, there he is. First of his name, Slayer of Dragons. Good call, Greg. We finally found a spot where I felt like it made sense to play Estime. Actually, I think there were a couple so far. He's not dead yet. He will defend the realm with the honor and strength of 1,000 sons. Audric Estime, Slayer of Dragons. And yes, Brian Thomas has been probably he's got to be top 5 most disappointing picks this year. Maybe top 3. It's been bad. It's been bad. Let me see. Dak, Dart, Jacoby. This is where I think I would go Jacoby Brissett. All 3 of these guys are good options. But Jacoby has been, like, he's set the bar. He's been a QB1. Like, Dart has been awesome, but he hasn't been a QB1 in every single start. Jacoby Brissett has. Jacoby Brissett has been a QB1 in every start that he has made this year. And he gets a beautiful matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. Send it. Jacoby Brissett. He gets Marvin Harrison back. That might not be great for Michael Wilson, but it's not bad for Jacoby Brissett. Just another weapon to throw the ball to. Jacoby is a top 3 play this week. It's Josh Allen. It's probably Drake May, Jalen Hurts, Jacoby Brissett, and then Jackson Dart. That's probably where I would rank these guys. How am I feeling about Josh Jacobs? You have to play him. You do not have Jacobs. You were considering dropping Debo for Emmanuel Wilson. I mean, I would keep holding since you don't. If you don't have Josh Jacobs and your opponent doesn't have Josh Jacobs, I would maybe be feeling more inclined to try to make this move if my opponent had Josh Jacobs. But if your opponent doesn't have Josh Jacobs and it's kind of like negligible for the matchup, I would keep waiting. I wouldn't drop Debo just yet. But obviously, if the vibes between now and Saturday aren't great on Jacobs, then by all means pounce. But I don't want to play Emmanuel Wilson probably over Terry McLaurin or Devontae Smith anyway. I do like Devontae's matchup this week. I know he hasn't been great, but historically he does well against Washington, and it's a good matchup. So I would, in a vacuum, probably plan to play Devontae Smith. In a scenario where Emmanuel Wilson starts for the Packers, I would play Devontae Smith. Yeah, we're starting Brissett over Stafford. We're starting Brissett over a lot of people. Let's see. Yeah. I would not. We'll cross the Emmanuel Wilson bridge when we get to it, and then McLaurin, Devontae, Gainwell, Warren, and you can only play one of these guys. Probably Terry McLaurin. Like, it is a tough matchup against Quinyon Mitchell, but they'll move him around. And he played quite well against Patrick Surtain with Mariota at quarterback a few weeks ago. I'm willing, and he caught a touchdown last week. That was a good matchup. This is a tougher one. I'll say Terry from this group. Devontae's been up and down. Gainwell's been good, but it's a bad matchup. I do like him this week, but I guess I like Terry more. And Warren, I think I like Gainwell more than Warren. So if I like McLaurin more than Gainwell, then transitive property, I like McLaurin more than Warren. And I certainly am playing Terry. I'm always playing a number 1 over a number 2. So I'm never going to play Deebo Samuel over Terry McLaurin. Terry. I got Evan's question. I'm playing the Saints over every defense not named the Houston Texans. Tyler Warren or Colby Parkinson? Yeah, this is where we're at with Tyler Warren. And I'll tell you what. I'm going Colby Parkinson. Warren should be fine, but the ceiling is gone. This offense is a shell of itself. Phillip Rivers is, he's a 44-year-old who's going to struggle to move the football down the field. That could be good for Warren's volume, but his ceiling is capped. It's not a bad matchup, but Parkinson is in a much more advantageous spot here. Now, you could say, all right, I would rather play the guy in the dome versus the guy with no weather. Fine. Or the dome with the guy with weather. Parkinson's potentially dealing with some wind and rain tonight. But it doesn't appear to be like a hellstorm. And I think I saw somebody mention something about Seattle and the weather. Yeah, nothing too bad. Like, yes, the winds are gusting, but I don't think it's consistent. From what I've seen, it's like 15-mile-per-hour winds. It doesn't look like it's going to crack 20-mile-per-hour winds, and there will be some gaps at the beginning of the game where the wind is not going to be as bad. So there will be times and opportunities for Parkinson to capitalize without Davante Adams. I think I go Colby over Warren. It's a really tough spot. Warren is definitely the better player, but it's a less than ideal situation. Like in a great matchup last week, 3 catches for 19 yards. Warren's a good player. This offense is in the tank now. I'll take Parkinson. Parkinson did start in Seattle. That's a great call out. So yeah, this isn't new to him. Excellent call out. Ferguson or Colby Parkinson? Yeah, I'm playing Parkinson. Ferguson has been okay, but like the ceiling is not there as long as CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are healthy. The Cowboys could always be in a shootout, and they're at home, so that bodes well for Ferguson's floor, but the ceiling play is Parkinson. No Davante Adams. They are going to, run a lot of 3 tight end sets. Parkinson is going to be out there a ton tonight, probably a full-time player, 6 touchdowns in his past 6 games. He's getting a lot of work, and he should see more work without Adams. And again, this is the 1 seed on the line. The Cowboys are not technically eliminated, but they are essentially eliminated from the playoff race. Like, give me the guy on a team who's playing for something, playing for the 1 seed, and one of their top weapons is out. I'll take Parkinson. I'll take Parkinson. And then Eagles defense or Chiefs defense, I'll take the defense it's good and it's playing for something. I'll take Philly. The Chiefs are in a great matchup against the Titans, but they're not playing for it. They're officially out. They're eliminated. They have the better matchup, probably. But the Eagles are playing for something. They can clinch the NFC East. I prefer, at this time of year, when there's so much volatility and we bank everything on getting these calls right to move on, I want to put my chips more often than not with teams that are playing for something. The Eagles are playing for something this weekend. The Chiefs are not. I'll take the Eagles against Marcus Mariota. And I know they don't have Jalen Carter, but they still have good pieces. It's a favorable matchup. Do I like DJ Moore better than Tet or Higgins? I like him more than Tet. I don't think I like him more than Higgins if Higgins plays. Higgins could be volatile coming out of concussion protocol if he suits up. But if he suits up, I would probably play Higgins over Moore. But I would play Moore over Tet. No Rome, no Luther. That bodes well for DJ Moore. Moving on down, got the member questions. Oh, I'm sorry. There was a kicker question up here. Myers or Fairbairn? This would be an okay spot for me to pivot off of Myers to Fairbairn because Fairbairn has been money this year. There are only a couple of kickers that I would move off of Jason Myers, and honestly, in most scenarios, I wouldn't move off of him. But if you have Fairbairn in the Dome against the Raiders, that's fine to pivot off of Myers too. If it's Myers or anybody other than Brandon Aubrey or Fairbairn, the answer is Jason Myers. But if you have Brandon Aubrey, you could play Brandon Aubrey. If you have Kaimi Fairbairn, you can play Kaimi Fairbairn. I would pivot to those two, and that would be it. That would be it. Is this another Week 16 matchup? Like a Week 16 final? That's crazy. I didn't realize we had so many of these. I'll take Swift against the Packers. No Micah Parsons for Green Bay. Home game for Chicago. No Rome Odunze. No Luther Burden. So Swift could catch a bunch of checkdowns. I will take Swift over Kyron. And I have to play Bowers over Pitts. I know it's a bad matchup, but it's Brock Bowers. And Pitts, London could be coming back, and Pitts popped up on the injury report. I don't know that it's anything serious, but he did pop up on the injury report today. I'm playing Bowers. I'm playing Bowers over everybody not named Trey McBride and George Kittle. But that being said, get your league to change the championship to Week 17. That's for anybody who still plays a Week 16. That Week 16 championships were a thing, and I know we got about like 45 minutes or so to kick off, so I will get to these questions. But allow me to get on my soapbox one more time. Week 16 championships were a thing during a 17-game season. I know it's been a few years. We now have an 18-game season. The championship should be Week 17. For all of us, all of you. Get me on the line with your commissioners. If you're not the commissioner yourself. Everybody should play Week 17 championships. I see other questions, but I got to get to my members. I promise I will get to everybody. Appreciate your patience. I saw some Dart questions after I talked about Dart over Baker, and I saw some, I think, Parkinson questions after I said Parkinson over Warren. My answer is Dart over most people, other than like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Jacoby Brissett. I'm playing Dart. And then Parkinson, yeah, I'm playing McBride. I'm playing Kittle. I'm playing Bowers. I'm probably playing Pitts. I'm playing probably Harold Fannin. Who am I missing? Goddard. I would play Goddard over Parkinson. And that's maybe it. That's maybe it. I might play Parkinson over Kelsey. Actually, that's not true. Rashee Rice is going to be in concussion protocol. But Kelsey's not playing for anything. And no Mahomes. I would play Parkinson over Kelsey. Okay, let me get to Evan's question, which I've had highlighted here for a minute. Pick 3, Metcalf, the Cardinals wide receivers, Cortland Sutton, Jaden Reed. Sutton against Jacksonville is super enticing at home. I think I would go with Sutton. It's a good matchup on paper. Metcalf gets the Lions. It's actually a pretty good matchup by the numbers. And then you got Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Jaden Reed. Reed has made his return to the Packers lineup, but Christian Watson could be suiting up. Dontavian Wicks could be suiting up. Michael Wilson's been on such a heater. I think I'd go Sutton, Metcalf, Michael Wilson, Evan. Sutton in a great matchup against Jacksonville. Metcalf in a good matchup against Detroit, and they're going to have to throw the ball. against that Lions offense. And I will ride the wave. I will ride the hot streak of Michael Wilson, even if Marv comes back. It's a good enough matchup for both of them to do well. I'm playing Michael Wilson. He got a touchdown last week against Houston. He's been on such a heater. You know, it could be playing with fire, starting him over Marv. But I think there's enough opportunity for both of them to do well in a great matchup against the Falcons. Sutton, Metcalf, and I'm riding the hot hand of Michael Wilson. That's where I'm going. Rojo, what's going on? I didn't see this one initially, but thanks for popping in. What is Mahomes' dynasty value right now? I'll give a quick thought on this one. I don't want to lose sight of the start-sit questions that may pertain to tonight's game, but Rojo's a long time day one. And he's a member, so I got to give that Mahomes question some thought. I mean, I don't know how much I want to give up for him at the moment. Oh, your question is you're the one giving him up. I mean, he's going to be, look, his value, somebody's going to, if you were trying to sell him right now, someone's going to not want to pay top dollar in all likelihood because he's hurt. And this is a Chiefs offense that is very much in transition with a lot of unknown right now. For all we know, Travis Kelce could retire. And even if Travis Kelce does come back next year, he's no longer the week in, week out stud that he used to be. He has lost a step. He's not as valuable a piece as he used to be. Rashee Rice is a stud. But at wideout, otherwise, they're kind of thin. Xavier Worthy has not lived up to expectations on the whole. Their run game is not great. Like, they need a really good player that can stretch the field. And right now, they don't really have that. Rashee Rice is an elite playmaker, but he's more of an elite playmaker at the short and intermediate level. He can go deep. He can do it deep, but it's not something that he consistently does, like, with the best in the league. You know what I'm saying? He's a great receiver. I think he's a top 6 or 7 or 8 receiver in the NFL. But he's a guy that is kind of like a dynamic do-it-all and is more of an intermediate threat. The Chiefs need a guy that can successfully win down the field. And right now, Mahomes doesn't have that. So on top of the injury, if I had a team that I felt like I could win now with, I would offer a first plus, but I don't know if I would offer 2 firsts. Unless I had an absolutely to the nines loaded roster and I was just missing a quarterback, maybe I give up 2 firsts. But again, I'm going to be looking to get him on the low because of the injury. So your best bet, Rojo, is probably to wait until closer to when he is healthy. And I get that doesn't necessarily jive with a potential, like, staring down a rebuild, but his value should, in theory, only go up closer to when he is at full health. I would probably not look to move him so soon in the offseason. But if you can get 2 firsts, then and the rest of your roster's going nowhere, then sure, fine. But I'm going to need 2 firsts, and honestly, I might need a play or 2. We're talking about Patrick freaking Mahomes here. Don't sell low, just because he's a little bit older now and because of this injury. If all goes well, Mahomes still has another 10 years in this league playing at a high level. Okay. Let me get back up to where I left off. May or Burrow? May gets the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Burrow gets the Dolphins in a meaningless game and maybe doesn't have T. Higgins. If T. Higgins suits up, I may have no choice but to play Joe Burrow. But honestly, I have less excitement and enthusiasm for Joe Burrow in this circumstance. I don't doubt that Joe Burrow can go out there and put up 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, especially in a good matchup. But if he doesn't have T. Higgins and he's playing in a game with nothing to play for versus May in a primetime game who is playing for something, Patriots are looking to stay at the top of the AFC and the top of the AFC East. I might go May. I think I go May. And he's way more of a threat to run than Burrow is. There's an argument for Burrow if T. Higgins plays. But honestly, I might just go May even if he does. May is playing for something Burrow isn't. And May's been incredible. And, we know Burrow has the track record. May has been incredible this year. He's been incredible this year. Weather's minimal. Appreciate these boots on the ground updates from the weather team. I'm taking donations for whoever wants to be on the weather team. All you have to do is live near where football games are played and give us updates if there is inclement weather. Let's see. Theo, what's going on? Put CD in the flex. That's smart. You have Walker in. Oh man, I'm playing DJ Moore over Kenneth Walker. I hope you're still in here. I know there was probably a little bit of a wait for this question. I would play DJ Moore over Kenneth Walker. The Seahawks don't run the ball well, and this is a tough matchup by the numbers. DJ Moore is coming off a 2-touchdown performance. And now there's no Rome Odunze, there's no Luther Burden, and then on the other side, there's no Micah Parsons for the Packers defense. I love the Bears. I like the spot the Bears are in. I like the spot the Bears are in, and DJ Moore should get all the work that he can handle. I would swap out Kenneth Walker for DJ Moore. That's 100% what I'm doing. And if CD doesn't play, even though I think he'll be fine, then I guess I would say Keenan Allen just because he's playing the Cowboys and just take a shot on the best matchup wide receiver can have in 2025. CD missed yesterday's practice with an illness. It wasn't an injury. Do we have any update on that? Oh, he missed practice again today. He was present for team meetings, but not present on the practice field. Okay. The only good thing here is that it's not an injury. There is time for CD to get over this illness. Hopefully he's not that sick. Just drink your fluids, CD. Drink your fluids, drink your emergency, get a lot of rest. If he doesn't play, I would plan to play Keenan Allen in that same game and just chase how good the matchup is. But I would definitely play DJ Moore over Kenneth Walker tonight. Which three of Dowdle, Michael Carter, Wandale, Estime, Harvey, Breece Hall? There's some good options here. I would say some of these options are too good for in all due respect to Audric Estime. I would rule him out here. I like all of these options better than him. Harvey against Jacksonville at home, I think I would take that. If it's full PPR, I would play Wandale. If it is standard scoring or half PPR, I would play the running backs. I would play Dowdle, Michael Carter, and Harvey. Am I really benching Breece Hall? Am I really benching Breece Hall? I mean, it's not a great. It's such a bad situation with the Jets' offense. Yeah, I think I am. If it's full PPR, play Wandale, Harvey, and Dowdle. If it's half PPR, I would probably play the three running backs. I keep saying that. There's more running backs in this than three. Harvey, Dowdle, Michael Carter in standard scoring and half PPR. Harvey, Dowdle, and Wandale if it's full PPR. That's where I'm going. Evan, I see you have another question. Yeah, Rice is going to be out. Adams is out. Oh, man, we need some upside. Coker. Right? Coker's been pretty good recently. Although, I think I saw that Tet McMillan did return to practice today. Okay. Maybe not Coker. I guess it's Debo. I guess it's Debo, Evan. The only saving grace with Debo is that Quinyon Mitchell should be on Terry McLaurin, so that should free up some opportunities for Debo, and no Zach Ertz, so Debo should get a few more opportunities. I would plan to play Debo, and hopefully your opponent has a bunch of poor performances. That's a tough projection. That's a tough projection, but that's why we play the games. You never know what could happen. Okay, I got through all of this stretch of member questions. This is where we're at. Need one wide receiver, one flex in full PPR. Terry McLaurin, RJ Harvey, Audric Estime, Michael Carter, or Jaden Reed. I'm playing those first two names. I'm playing Terry against the Eagles. It's not a great matchup, but Terry has come through in tough matchups just earlier this year, and he's been just fine with Marcus Mariota and no Ertz, so he should get more looks. Harvey, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is a lot better, but Harvey, he's the lead back in a solid offense at home. Yes, the Broncos are up and down, but I'll take the swing on Harvey's upside. The usage is there. I'll play Harvey at home. Estime and Carter are less of a sure thing for me than RJ Harvey. And I'd rather play Terry than Jaden Reed. Okay, yeah, I know a couple of folks were getting questions. They were bringing in questions about Dart after I talked about Dart. Dart or Bo Nix, Dart or Stafford. I see both of these questions back to back. The answer for both is Dart. Bo Nix has been up and down this year. Dart has been money for the most part this year, and he's been money at home. I don't care that it is by the numbers a tough matchup against Minnesota. Dart has been money at home, and he will run. Like at a higher rate than these other guys. Stafford, same deal. The 6-point passing touchdown is typically in Stafford's favor, but without Devontae Adams, his touchdown upside is lesser tonight. Stafford is more along the lines of a low-end QB1 than the slam dunk option that he has been all this year. And honestly, he may even be more in like the QB2 range without Devontae Adams. I want Dart over Bo Nix. I want Dart over Stafford. I want Dart over most options this week. He's been money at home. He's been money in general. And he's a rookie playing, he's playing to prove it. He's proving that he belongs. He's going to play at a high level. Dart is a scenario as a rookie where the Giants being eliminated from playoff contention does not matter. Dart is playing, positive momentum going into next year, getting experience, valuable experience as a first-year player. Like, that stuff doesn't matter for Dart. I'm playing Dart. And I do like the Saints defense over the Eagles tomorrow. The Eagles are perfectly fine. They are a top probably 6 or 7 option. The Saints are my favorite play on the slate as far as defenses go, other than the Houston Texans. They are playing the New York Jets, and that's all that it comes down to. The Jets' offense is bad. I'm playing the Saints. Loveland or Parkinson. Now, this one is interesting. There's a case to be made that, both of these guys are really good options. They're both really good options. Parkinson tonight on the road in Seattle, where he used to play. touchdown upside has been really good over the past 6 weeks. Usage should be up tonight without Devontae Adams. Colston Loveland had a nice day against the Packers just a couple weeks ago. No Rome Odunze, no Luther Burden. Cole Kmet is questionable, but Cole Kmet did say he will play. That being said, it is a home game for Chicago. It is a favorable spot for Chicago, at least in my opinion. I like the Bears in this spot in a revenge game at home. I think Loveland has a chance to do quite well. I will tell you that Parkinson is your safe play. I think Parkinson is a safe play tonight. I think Loveland has more upside. I think both are good options. I think Parkinson is the floor if you feel good about your matchup. If you feel like you can, if you can play Parkinson and kind of take what a potential floor is, and I think it's a high floor, then Parkinson. But if you think you need to be aggressive and you need to swing for the fences, I actually think that might be Loveland. But Loveland's floor might be lower. But his floor should also be fine, with no Rome and no Burden. I will say Parkinson is floor, and if you think you need upside, if you think you need to be aggressive, then I think that play is Loveland. So it kind of depends on what you need. I think both are perfectly viable streaming options. Parkinson or Waller, Parkinson tonight. Waller should be fine, but going from Tua to Quinn Ewers, it hurts his projection. He's more of a tight end like 12 to 15 range as opposed to like the tight end 5 or 6. If Tua was playing, I would be confident in Waller as a top 5 tight end against Cincinnati. Quinn Ewers is a 7th-round rookie making his first career start. Yeah, he might lean on Waller, but I just don't want to bank on that if I don't have to. Parkinson, against the Seahawks tonight, good matchup. No Devontae Adams. I prefer Parkinson to Waller. I officially prefer a lot of tight ends to Waller. With the quarterback change from Tua to Quinn Ewers, I prefer a lot of tight ends to Darren Waller. Yeah, the Chiefs could sign a free agent type. They could grab somebody. I mean, what they really need is a field-stretching wide receiver. An Isaiah Likely would help. But, yeah, I agree. If you have Patrick Mahomes in Dynasty and you're thinking about selling if you feel like the rest of your team is not currently in a position to compete, I would be holding. I wouldn't look to move off of him because there's a good chance that he doesn't even start the regular season. He might, but he might not be ready. And keep in mind, he didn't just tear his ACL, he tore his LCL as well. So it could be a slightly longer recovery for Mahomes. I would almost certainly hold into the regular season because even if he is ready week 1, there's going to be a lot of rust for him to knock off, and he may not look like Patrick Mahomes right away. I would definitely be patient and take my time and let his value get back up. And even then, you could then decide at that point, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to keep him through the rebuild because I believe he's still got a long career ahead of him, So I would definitely wait before I sold Mahomes in Dynasty. Hell, to that point, maybe go try to buy him. If you don't have Mahomes in Dynasty and you're looking at okay, what quarterbacks could see myself going after this offseason, maybe go after Patrick Mahomes and see if you could buy low on him. I love these conversations because then it makes me realize, wait, I'm on, if I'm saying hang on to him, then you might as well be aggressive. Not aggressive, but you might as well kick the tires in situations where you don't have him and go see if you can get him. The more you know. Okay. Herbert or Brissett. This one's tough. Flip a coin. Herbert's in a great the best matchup you could ask for against the Dallas Cowboys, and I think I heard that is Quinnen Williams in concussion protocol. He returned to a limited practice, so he could get cleared for this week. I mean, Jacoby's been a QB1 every game he's played. So I think my answer is Jacoby Brissett. That being said, if you want to swing for the fences, that would be Herbert. That would be Herbert because he's playing Dallas. I would say Herbert has the ceiling, but Jacoby has such a high floor that if you feel good about your matchup, if you feel good about your team versus your opponent's team, I would play Brissett. If you feel like you need to be aggressive and go for some upside, that might be Herbert. But his floor is probably lower than Jacoby's. So it depends on what you need. What's going on, Jake? Good to see you. Sounds good. Appreciate you stopping by. Just one more heads up. I will be live a little earlier this Saturday than I usually am. I'm usually live 5 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, but that's when the games start this weekend. So I will be live. Look for me in the 1 to 2 p.m. window on Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll go a little earlier ahead of the games to get time in with you guys before the games actually kick off. So look for me early afternoon Eastern time, not early evening Eastern time. Thinking like between 1 and 2 o'clock. Loveland or yeah, so I just got that same question. I think Parkinson's the floor, and I think Loveland is the aggressive play. I think both are viable top 8 streaming options on the week. Parkinson, no Devontae Adams. Loveland, no Rome Odunze, no Luther Burden. I think both of them are good. I think the safe play is Parkinson. I think the ceiling play is Colston Loveland. So it depends on how you feel like you match up against your opponent and what you think you need. If you think you can play it safe, if you're thinking to yourself, my team is dominant, or it's good on paper, I'm the favorite. I like my chances. I like my players better than my opponent's players. Like objectively, I feel good about my team. I feel good about my chances. I would play Parkinson. If you can objectively look at your matchup and you tell yourself, my opponent maybe on paper looks like they have a better team. I need to swing for the fences in areas that I can. I need to shoot for upside. I think that's Loveland. I think both are good plays. I think both are perfectly viable. That's, I guess, how I would quantify it. Yep. That was the same. Got it. Okay. Nope, that's all good. Always feel free to repost questions if you don't. Yeah, if I get to it and you don't hear it or miss it, that's totally fine. I think we're at the end of the chat. I think I got all questions. I'm certainly happy to hang on for a bit longer before kickoff if there is anything else. If everybody's all good for this game, again, start-sit questions can be brought on Saturday. 1 p.m. Eastern, thereabouts, 1 to 1:30, 1:30 to 2, somewhere in that time frame, I will go live. And I will talk shop with you guys ahead of Eagles Commanders and ahead of the slate in general. So you can absolutely bring questions on Saturday. We'll get more practice reports on Friday. Names to watch are CeeDee Lamb, Woody Marks. Kyle Pitts picked up that injury. Drake London. There's plenty of names to keep an eye on. So we'll get more definitive statuses. Josh Jacobs on Saturday. So we'll certainly get into all of that, whatever the fallout is from the latest injury updates on Friday, and getting you guys ready for the full Week 16 slate. Let's see. Waddle, Marv, or Corum. And again, there is currently no wait to ask questions. This is brutal. I think I would go Waddle in full PPR. I am pretty worried about him with this going to Quinn Ewers, but at least it's a good matchup. I'm not expecting much from Ewers, but hopefully he's able to pepper Waddle with at least 7 or 8 targets. Waddle has been good this year, and he's been good at home. I would imagine they find a way to force feed the ball to Waddle, give him as many chances as possible, because they want to set up Ewers to have as much success as they possibly can. So they should probably throw to their best player. I would say Waddle. Marv is on the injury report. It's a good matchup. If Marv plays and you want to pivot to Marv, I'm okay with that just because of the switch to Quinn Ewers. I like Blake Corum tonight, but I think Waddle is worth playing in full PPR over him just from a volume perspective. And if you want to pivot to Marv, you can if you wait on Waddle. I think that's what I would do. Having McBride doesn't change anything for me with this question. Like, if you have Waddle, I would wait for him. If Marv is active and healthy, I might play him over Waddle, but obviously we just don't know that yet. He's trending in the right direction, but we don't know for sure. Let's see if there's any other injury updates. There are none. One more time for tonight's contest. Jackson Smith-Njigba, Puka Nacua, Jason Myers, I think, are must-starts. Even with the bad weather, you have to play Jason Myers. He's been incredible this year. Unless, by some stroke of magic, you can pivot to Brandon Aubrey or Kaimi Fairbairn. But that would be it for me at kicker. I am only playing Stafford and Darnold, the quarterbacks in this game, in Superflex formats. Stafford's been amazing this year, but with no Devontae Adams, I want to pivot off of him. Darnold, he can definitely support JSN, but he's definitely volatile as a QB1 option otherwise, so I'd rather avoid him unless it's Superflex. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum are flex options tonight. Their chances to score both went up without Devontae Adams. The goal line opportunities, instead of them being 1 to 5 yard passes to Adams, should now go swing back to the running backs. So Kyron and Corum has some flex appeal tonight. And Colby Parkinson is on the streaming radar as a top 7 or 8 option this week. The weather makes him a little concerning, but ultimately, with no Devontae Adams, he's one of the more enticing options at tight end if you don't have a clear-cut, obvious option to turn to. For Seattle side, Walker and Charbonnet in the backfield. I'd rather not play them. It's not a good matchup, and they don't run the ball well. Rashid Shaheed he's got some wide receiver 3 appeal, but he is still somewhat volatile. He's still pretty new to the team. He's only been with the team for a month. His usage has gone up over the past couple weeks. That's great, and I do love Shaheed. He is a baller. It's just a little bit of a volatile spot, given all of the circumstances. And then A.J. Barner, yeah. Hopefully you can do better. Jake, yeah, I'm going Myers over McLaughlin. Jason Myers has been so good this year. And I'll tell you what. Let me check the weather one more time. Just in case, we all know weather can change on a dime out of nowhere. Right now, I'm still seeing, it does say 16 mile per hour winds. I think you have to play him. At 7 p.m., the wind goes up to 17 miles an hour. But it's gonna be a little windy this game. I have a hard time pivoting off of Myers. I really do. And if you're worried about the weather, I get it. But Myers, hasn't he been Seattle's kicker for a long time? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Myers has been in Seattle for like years. He hasn't been this money every single time, but yeah, he's been with Seattle since 2019. Kicking in bad weather is not anything new for this guy, and he's been incredible this year. I'm not switching off of him. I'm not. Yeah, if you have Jason Myers, I'm playing him. I'm not pivoting off of him. I would play him. I know it sucks, but he's been so good. He's been so good. I think I just have to. I just gotta believe. I gotta ride the wave. Yep. Okay. Once again, at the end of the chat. Yeah, hopefully you can do better than AJ Barner. I guess we'll be wrapping this up here shortly with the game kicking off in just a few, about a half, or a little less than a half hour from now. Oh boy, the stakes are big in this game. Lots of fantasy star power. Despite the weather, we're firing everybody up with confidence that we normally would, except for Stafford. I would bench Stafford for another quarterback in one quarterback leagues. Not super flex, but in one quarterback. If you play somebody tonight, I don't care who they are, put them in a position spot. One more time. Leave that flex spot open for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Maximize your flexibility. Pun intended. Do not play Thursday night players in the flex. Put them in position spots. If you have to play or choose to play a guy like Blake Corum, put him in a running back spot. Put somebody else in the flex spot that plays later in the week. Keep your flexibility and your maximized options open and available to you. And once again, this is the fantasy semifinals for many of you. Apparently this is the final for some of you. Let's change that to week 17 next year. Hopefully this is, the penultimate for most of you. The final is next week, and for none of you, hopefully nobody plays week 18. Nobody should play week 18. Fantasy in week 18, the last week of the season, sucks. Just don't do it. But congrats on being here, everybody. Congrats on making it to the semifinals. Big deal. No small accomplishment. But obviously, we want more. So best of luck in the start of your matchups. If it starts tonight, however you need it to go, hopefully it goes your way. And I will be back live on Saturday in the 1 p.m. Eastern window, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern window, talking shop ahead of the start of the Week 16 slate, which starts on Saturday with Eagles Commanders at 5 p.m. Eastern. Shout out to all of my members that I saw today. I saw Sport Dog. I saw Evan. I saw Crumply Heads. I saw Greg. I saw Jake. I think I saw Manny. I saw Rojo. I did see Manny. And I think that's all of the members that I saw. Thank you, Andrew, for the super. Appreciate it. And everybody for coming in and hanging out this evening ahead of Rams-Seahawks. We got a big one, and hopefully it delivers from a fantasy production perspective. But I think that'll do it for me this evening. I, of course, need to triple check my own lineups and situations and make sure that everything that I have is in order, because I've got 5 playoff games. I've got 5 leagues, 5 playoff matchups, all in the semifinals. I feel quite good about the season that I've had this year, but that means I got to constantly be staying on top of 5 different matchups. So I got to go take care of that. But enjoy the game. Hopefully it goes well. I will see you guys on Saturday. Best of luck if your semifinals start this evening. Thanks, everybody.